Is a 700 calorie deficit good for weight loss? It's one of the most common questions we hear from people starting a structured diet plan, and the answer isn't simply yes or no. So let's walk through what the evidence and UK clinical guidance actually say. First, a quick explanation of what a calorie deficit actually means. Your body needs a certain number of calories every day just to function, to breathe, circulate blood, digest food, and move around. That total is called your total daily energy expenditure. When you consistently eat fewer calories than that, your body starts drawing on stored fat for energy. That's how a calorie deficit leads to weight loss over time. The relationship between deficits and weight loss is well established, but it's not perfectly linear. As your body adapts, the same daily deficit tends to produce smaller losses over time. Individual responses also vary quite a bit depending on age, sex, hormonal status, and how your metabolism responds. So, where does 700 calories sit within UK guidance? NICE, the National Institute for Health and Care Excellence, recommends a 600 kilocalorie daily deficit as the evidence based target for safe, sustainable weight loss in most adults. A 700 calorie deficit sits modestly above that. It's not inherently unsafe for healthy adults, but it is at the upper end of what's considered appropriate without some degree of clinical oversight. That distinction matters. Sustained calorie restriction carries real risks worth understanding. Metabolic adaptation, where weight loss slows as your body becomes more efficient, nutritional deficiencies if the diet isn't well planned, muscle loss alongside fat loss, and psychological effects, including the potential for disordered eating patterns. These aren't reasons to avoid a calorie deficit altogether. They're reasons to approach it thoughtfully. It's also worth knowing that very low calorie diets, typically below 800 kilocalories per day, should only ever be undertaken with clinical supervision. That's a firm line in UK guidance. So, what does a sensible evidence based approach look like? Combining modest dietary changes with regular physical activity is the most supported method. UK guidelines recommend at least 150 minutes of moderate aerobic activity per week, things like brisk walking, cycling, or swimming. Achieving your deficit through a combination of eating slightly less and moving more tends to be more sustainable than cutting calories alone, and it helps preserve muscle mass. Now, certain groups of people should seek medical review before starting significant calorie restriction. This includes anyone with type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, kidney disease, or a history of disordered eating. Extra caution is also advisable for smaller or less active individuals, under 18s, those with a BMI below 18.5, and women of reproductive age. These conditions and circumstances can all affect how your body responds to calorie restriction, so please speak to your doctor before making substantial changes to your diet. For some eligible adults, NHS prescription options, such as orlistat or semaglutide, may be considered alongside dietary changes. These are prescription-only medicines considered based on specific eligibility criteria, and your prescriber will advise whether they might be appropriate for you. A few things to take away. A 700 calorie daily deficit can be effective for weight loss in healthy adults, but it sits just above NICE's recommended 600 kilocalorie target, so it warrants careful thought. Combining dietary changes with regular physical activity is the most evidence-based approach. And if you have any underlying health conditions or fall into one of those higher caution groups, always speak to a healthcare professional first. Nothing in this video is a substitute for personal medical advice. Your GP or a registered dietitian is the right person to help you build a plan that's safe and right for you specifically. Have you tried a structured calorie deficit before? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear your experience. And if you found this helpful, please give it a like and subscribe to the Bolt Pharmacy channel for more evidence-based health content.